of stuff.
Hello, I'm Maricopa. I'm Mike Rich, and I'm here with Precinct 8 candidate and current incumbent Judge Scott Sulley. How are you doing today, Judge Sulley?
Thank you. I'm doing fine, Mike. Thank you.
So why don't you tell the people why you're deciding to run for Justice of the Peace again?
Well, it's because I think I still have a lot to offer for the people. We've had 8 years of steady improvement. We've made a lot of changes for the better, I think. When I first got to the court, we had a lot of antiquated procedures which we modernized. I mean, we didn't even have files. We had pieces of paper clipped together. Our court calendar was on a legal sheet of paper that had been lined, and so it's kind of hard to keep track of things, and those are just the more obvious things, but we've made a lot of improvements to the procedures, and I still, every day we try to make a change for the better, and I think I can do that for the next 4 years.
What are your qualifications for the position?
Well, I handled a lot of these type of cases that I see every day when I was a lawyer for 18 years, the misdemeanor cases, the eviction cases, the representing both plaintiff and defendant in civil lawsuits, and also I was a prosecutor and also a defense attorney in criminal cases, and so I think I've heard every type of case there is. There's always new things that come along, but I think I'm pretty experienced about those type of things, and I have an ability to, I think, judge people's credibility a little bit better than the average guy who hasn't been exposed to this type of practice.
What sets you apart from your opponent, Frank Gagliardi?
Well, I don't know if we have enough time for that. Just to say I'm experienced. I don't have the personal baggage that my opponent has, and I'm obeying the rules for campaign financing campaigns, which is a good indicator of not only what's going on now, but an indicator of those things in his past that he's struggled with. And I'm going to rise above that and try not to be negative, but if anybody has any questions about me or Mr. Gagliardi, I would suggest you go on to public access and look up all the cases that involve him, and also you can go to the Registrar of Contractors website, or you can come to our court where there's, I think, 3 or 4 pending cases against him for complaints about the way he does business. But I'm not going to go into the details of those. You know, people can make their own decisions.
Why do you want to be the Justice of the Peace? I mean, why did you originally run, and why do you continue to run again?
I originally ran, well, let me see, when I first hit Pinal County back in 1987, I had a case where I just couldn't believe the decision that the judge made, and I'm thinking, oh my gosh, and to be fair to that judge, because of the way the Constitution is written, he didn't have to have any legal training, he didn't have to have any really education, and he made a decision that was so contrary to the law. And everybody can have an honest disagreement about the facts of the case, but you have to follow the law. And so in the back of my mind, I said, boy, I sure would like to be a judge so this won't happen to the next litigant that comes down the pike.
Is that judge kind of similar to your opponent?
Yes, and I can't really go into the details why. They both had the same issues.
Okay. So, I mean, needless to say, you think it's important to have some kind of legal experience to be a judge?
By far. I keep hearing this from people who haven't been to law school and people who don't have any legal training, that the Justice of the Court, Justice of the Peace Court is a people's court, and that's to sort of draw the sting from people who have not been trained. And it is a people's court. The Superior Court is a people's court. The Appellate Court, the Supreme Court are people's courts. It doesn't mean you don't have to have the legal training. A lot of people say they can be fair, and that's what I hear from a lot of people who haven't been trained, that they can be fair, but when it comes to being fair in a legal context, it's not just a matter of, well, you have 5 kids and there's 3 pieces of pizza, who gets what? Being fair has been established by the rules of procedure, 1,000 years of case law, including going back to British Isles, the rules of evidence. There's a lot of rules that establish what is fair and what is not, and even though you might have your gut instinct about way you should decide a case, you still have to follow the law.
What are some of the types of cases you hear as a justice of the peace?
Okay. Well, we have jurisdiction. Not only, as you know, I'm also the city magistrate, but we have jurisdiction over misdemeanors, and that can be anything from driving on a suspended license, DUIs, a lot of domestic violence cases, unfortunately, underage consumption, that sort of thing. And as far as the civil cases, anything under $10,000 can be filed in our court, and it's basically cases, we get a lot of cases where people are unable to pay their debts, and so we get a lot of cases from attorneys for debt collectors, we get evictions, and unfortunately this economy, that's been on the uprise also. Other cases, and mainly you didn't fix my car right type cases.
Yeah. Okay. Now, do you is being a judge, is that a full-time gig for you?
No, it is a full-time gig, especially because we have the city court now. And I wanted to mention that we do offer considerable savings to both the county and the city by having the co-located courts, because they share the expenses. But no, I don't really have time to do anything else. One of the rules about being a judge in my capacity is that I can't practice law. And I would like to do that, not so much representing litigants, but being able to mediate cases,
Yeah.
which I think I can do. And I do a lot of that in court on a daily basis, try to get the people to reach some sort of accommodation instead of me making a decision, because when you come in, especially in civil lawsuits, you think you're totally in the right. The other side thinks they're totally in the right, and it's usually someplace in between.
Okay. And where did you get your law degree at? How long did you practice law for prior to becoming a judge?
Well, I got my law degree later in life. I got it in 1986 at Northern Illinois University. I actually went to law school at University of Illinois back in, 1970, decided I didn't like it, came back to the legal profession, and like I said, graduated in 1986. I practiced in and around Pinal County till 2002, and that's when I became a judge. And like I said, you can't practice law as a judge.
Okay. Did you always have aspirations to be a judge, or is that something that just kind of happened?
Not really. As a matter of fact, it just sort of struck me at that one incident I told you about, and knowing that I could do a better job in this, and knowing that the people that are subject to this particular court deserve better than what they had before.
Anything else you want to add, Judge?
Well, I just thank everybody for all the support. I've heard a lot of positive things in the last few weeks, and I appreciate it. I appreciate the vote on November 2nd. I think if you do an informed inquiry to my qualifications and that of my opponent, I don't think there's any question that I have the necessary qualifications. And that's about it, Mike.
Hey, appreciate it, Judge.
Thank you.
Good luck to you.